breaking up at the worst possible time. I met Emily 4 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday party, the night spilling over with music and laughter, and those little electric moments when a glance across the room means something. For a long time, our lives synced together easily. Weekend brunches, late-night movie marathons, talk about careers and someday kids, all the little pieces fitting into that reassuring jigsaw. This could really be it. But something shifted in the last year. Subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. I started thinking, really thinking, about my future, about what I wanted and where I was heading. The conversations we used to have about someday kids changed cadence. I found myself thinking more about parenthood, about what it would mean to have a family, and Emily's jokes about being the cool aunt started to sound more like the truth than an aside. Where she started pulling away from the idea of children, I found myself getting quietly drawn in. The divergence felt small at first, just another difference to talk through. But the older we got, the less it felt like something either of us wanted to compromise. It wasn't just that either. I watched her confidence fade, saw her shrink into herself, second-guess every decision, retreat from old hobbies and friends. Some days, she'd cry quietly without explanation, and I became her lifeline. My phone would buzz with texts and calls late into the night, reassurance in high demand. I did what I could, cooked her dinner, listened for hours, tried to say the right things. But as the months went by, I realized how much of myself was caught in the gravity of her need. Her depression was probably clinical, and I urged her gently toward help, but more often than not, she'd just retreat further in. I wanted to be her safety net, but it started feeling like a trap. Professionally, we were drifting too. I'm ambitious, to a fault sometimes, but I have a plan, a 5-year vision, numbers and dates scribbled in journals and calendars. Emily's path was indistinct, each day muddying the future a little more. She didn't know what she wanted. I did. Our lives, once parallel, began to angle apart. Then a few weeks ago, I left for a multi-month work trip in another state. It was only a few hours away, but the distance felt radical. The first night in my new apartment, I realized, to my shame, that I could breathe again. My days felt lighter. There was no constant check-in, no worry about how she was really doing when I was out of sight. For the first time in years, I didn't feel responsible for someone else's happiness. The relief wasn't huge, but it was there, undeniable. That's when I knew I needed out. Not as a punishment, not from anger, but with a grim kind of honesty. We weren't right for each other, not anymore. The more I thought about ending things, the heavier it seemed. Emily depended on me, emotionally and financially. I tried to picture her world without me in it, and the result felt cruel. But the alternative was living a lie, and every day the burden grew heavier. Then, last night, the ground shifted again. Emily's mother, her alarm, her confidant, her greatest support, suffered a stroke and died before daybreak. I got the call just after midnight, my phone shaking in my hand, Emily's voice choked to nothing but sobs. She'd already had a hellish year, friends drifting away, career setbacks burning out hope, and now this, loss on top of loss. In that moment, my instinct was to run to her, to patch her up in every way I knew how. I wanted so badly to fix what couldn't be fixed. But beneath the grief, the decision I'd made still stood, solid and cold. I couldn't go on pretending. Staying just to break up with her later felt like delivering disaster twice. The next day, I packed up early and drove straight to her apartment. She met me at the door, eyes swollen, exhaustion deep in every line of her face. I hugged her for a long time, feeling the weight we both carried settle between us. We ordered takeout, watched a movie in silence, and let ourselves exist in that fragile peace grief sometimes brings. Late that night, when the world finally felt quiet, I told her softly what I'd been carrying for months, that I loved her, that she mattered to me, but that I couldn't keep holding us together when every sign pointed apart, that I wanted children, wanted clarity, wanted a life that matched my own rhythm, and that she deserved the chance to find hers too. She didn't say much right away, she just nodded, tears trickling down her cheeks. I stayed a little longer until she fell asleep. By morning, I left her a note, promising to help however I could, financially, practically, even as a friend if she wanted it. But I gathered my things and walked out, the door closing softly behind me. It felt like losing a part of myself, but also like letting go of a heavy, invisible weight. Standing outside, I took a breath. The pain was real, a dull ache that wouldn't fade for a long time, but beneath it, there was something close to relief. We both needed to start over, and heartbreak, as harsh as it felt, was sometimes the first honest step.